Welcome back, guys, to the Bear and Scully podcast with me, Sean Scullion, aka Scully, O'Malley, aka the Bear. Aiden,
No,
he's not here.
We
We'll
have
skip that out.
Jess in the background here. We made up nicknames for her, but she doesn't like it, so we'll think of a new one for her. Jessie Giggles is out.
We are back.
We are back, baby. So this is a short wee catch up. We're doing a wee. This is what we call a wee stocking filler. Wee stocking filler. We were supposed to be live. We're not really getting into the do's and don'ts there, but we didn't sell enough tickets. No, I'm only joking. So we have to have postponed the live show. So normally when we had the live and everything going on, but it was very last minute, and we're only back now. So we're in the studio today, and it feels like ages since we've been in. But it was it last week? We were in here last week?
No, it was a couple of weeks back.
Was it?
Think so. Time's going too fast.
Anyway, so guys, we are now on Patreon, and our better podcasts are going to be available behind a paid window if you wish to see them.
Whoa. What do you mean better? They're all good.
Ack your balls. No, I'm only joking. What I'm going to say is, and we have planned it, we haven't actually implemented it. We're doing it now a lot at the minute. We're putting a lot of extra work in it because we don't want our Patreon to just be like everyone else's, where it's you just get to see something early. We actually want to have interactive content where if you want to ask questions of our guests. So a lot of people actually message in about previous podcasts and where they are and what they're doing and did they get any help or whatever it is from different pods.
But they want to know a bit about you too.
Well, now's their chance.
There's a chance.
You can send in your messages. We have polls. We have
Polish people.
Don't be going down this road, John. we'll have different things that's interactive, but also it will help shape the show in the regards of who we are going to get on. Now, if you have a story and you feel like we're a good fit to come and tell it to, don't be afraid to message the page or send an email in, and Jess will vet it. All yous will always get the same reply. I'll show this to the boys, right? But if we don't follow up, it's not like that. Actually, what happens a lot of time is when there's a certain style of pod, and when I say style, that's not a very fitting term. If it was sexual abuse podcast or an historic one or trauma, then it triggers something in somebody that has a similar story. But we try and sort of loop round again. So we don't necessarily, if we haven't got back to you now, doesn't mean we're not coming back to you. It just means like if you've done that and they've got a wee bit texting. So we're having a bit of a crack today.
So this pod is going to be nothing about
drama.
Crack.
Just a bit of crack.
Better crack.
We're going to catch up.
So what's going on?
What have you been? Well, let's start with.
What's going on this? Well, I was away on holidays.
You're away on holiday.
Great time
How
away.
did you get on?
I had 2 Duracell bunnies with me, 2 kids. Never stopped.
It's not a holiday.
Oh no, it was enjoyable. Went for a 5k run. Told my wife to meet me up at the castle. It was at least 2-mile walk for the kids. And kids don't walk straight whenever they're on holidays. They zigzag. There's a wee frame over there, climbing it. There's a wall. Swing off the top of it. They zigzag. Now the cub and the wee blade walked up to the castle, 2 mile. I had done a 5k run. What are we doing now, Daddy? Over to the park.
I'm with you.
Home. Inland Other Park. What are we doing now? Going to go to a fun fair. They never stopped.
But do you not think...
But it was brilliant though.
Do you not think, but the more you do, the more they want to do?
100%.
Like Stan going, oh, what are we doing next? As in, we've just fucking done loads here. And you know what we're doing next? Daddy's going to have a pint.
But hey, holidays have changed from my day.
Why?
Back in the day.
Sean was giving off about this earlier.
Oh,
right.
My holidays were going to the caravan, Mullockmore. You had no electric, you had no run water, and you were shitting in a bucket.
Sean, when did you go on holidays? In the 1920s? Shit in a bucket.
Well, it was... right. It was a toilet-shaped bucket.
What do you mean a toilet-shaped bucket?
Right, so it was this. You lifted up the lid, you sat down, but it was a bucket. Blue water in it.
A chemical toilet?
Oh, and this thing wasn't a chemical toilet. You could lift it now.
That's a caravan.
It was a bucket job. Bucket shop.
Make it sound like, oh, back in the day, back in the day when I was shitting in a bucket. Where'd you get charred?
You didn't?
In the river? When you were down at Mulkmore?
There was no shower. There was no running water in the caravan. You had to go across the road
Right.
till a wee farm
So how did you heat
for
it?
the water. Gas cooker. Swear to God, best time of my life. Best
my
time
God.
of my life. Right,
Well,
so every morning.
You're saying that.
So in the morning, there was this big jar and had a wee tap in the bottom of it. So you used to dander over till where the cows were kept, in this wee, whatever you call that thing. And that's where your running water was at. So you went over, filled her up, brought the jar over.
Wait there. This is the most tiny statement I've ever heard in my life. Were the cow, as in the cow shed, or as
Cow shed or a wee pen that they come in till they get fed or whatever. They run wild in the field and then they come back in to get fed. Whatever that thing's called.
Right. So
Got a bit of water over in the mornings, filled up kettle, filled up the pan for a couple of eggs.
Sean,
Deadly.
I don't know ever to take you seriously.
Deadly.
Here. Well, I'll tell you. I remember our holidays back then. We went to Westport
Of course you did.
with a big tent.
So you had a tent?
A tent. We weren't as posh as you. We didn't have a
yeah.
chemical toilet. We had a hole in the
Did you
hedge.
have any electric? No.
This was measuring, right? The best one I ever heard, and I'm going to credit him for this, because he told me one time, and he goes, "Oh, I have a mate. He's called Lavender Reef." And I goes, "What do you mean Lavender Reef?" And he goes, "Well, if you went to Tenerife, he went to Lavender Reef. So I'm going to Lavender Reef here. We had a tent, no electric, no running water, no gas cooker, and no shitting in a bucket. We had just the tent, but I am telling you, all joking aside, it was actually the best.
No TVs,
If
no
I
phones,
ask, if
no
I ask
nothing.
my younger sisters now, what is the best memories of going on holiday, they will tell you going away when we used to go to Westport. But I don't know whether I should tell this story or not tell this story, and I don't know whether Westport campsite's still going and they can actually legally come after me, but because this was actually probably, it was illegal. So anyway, what had happened was, back then the 50p was the same. Back then, Jesus Christ, it sounds so old. The 50p was the same size as the old 50p's, the UK old 50p. So, like, I don't know, in 1990 they done away with like the 50p, which was a big, thick, heavy 50p, and then they replaced it with a smaller, thinner 50p. But it was the same as the punt one, so it was the exact same. So, like, if you're putting it in a machine, the value knob would work. So my dad used to work with Comedy Bros here, and they were bracking up like old arcade games. And I remember I was out helping brack them up, and then one of them, the hopper, whatever way the hopper the money went down the back, the hoppers were the money in the arcade games. And it was full. It had £90 of old 50p's, right? So I remember counting them out, and there was like 180. So it was £90 worth of them. Put it in a bag, tied her in a knot, took her with me. Got my two wee sisters, who were only like really young at the time. Let's go. So what do? Didn't say anything to my mom and dad, didn't say anything to anyone. Headed down to the arcade place and it wasn't good enough that I had enough money now to put like 50p in and play it. I went to the change machine, put the full amount in her, and it started spitting them out in punts. Went up to the wee booth and asked your man would he change it to punt notes, and away we went. And now we arrived back, and I'll never forget this, because we arrived back and there was a family pass thing in Westport. I don't know if anybody's ever stayed in Westport. There's a family pass where if you bought it for the week, you can go up to the zoo, you can go to the wee funfair park, you can go into the house, you can do all the things. There's horse riding, there's pitch and putt, there's wee go-karts and all, but you needed the family pass. But like, it was expensive back then. It was expensive to take away all of us, so we didn't have
You're
it.
saying that you stayed in a tent, right? So it was harder than my caravan trips.
Yeah.
But yet you had your go-karting and all these great things.
It was good.
Do you know what the fun was up in Mullockmore?
Jumping up here?
Heading down to the beach, grabbing yourself a big stick and poking the life of the jellyfish that all had washed up onto the sand.
Well,
That was the highlight.
Well, there was a lot on. Westport was class, and the funny thing was, this would have been like around the July holidays, and it would have been half full of Cookstown anyway, so you knew half the ones round. But I arrived back with this family pass, and I can remember going to the office, and I goes, "Oh, I want a family pass for the week," and they're like, "Where's your mummy and daddy at?" And I was like, "Oh, my mummy sent me down with this." My mum has no idea of what's going on here. Okay, right. So there's like 30 punt or something, which was a lot of money. Next thing was, we came back up. We're going up to the house. Well, we'll need to come here because you need to. No, we got to pass. Now I could see my ma going, "Where'd you get that from? How did you get that?" I bought it, and then whipped out a wad of punts. And she goes, What did you do?" So I proceeded to tell the story about the 50p. Oh my God, my mom was actually affronted. This was like the first day. She goes, "Buddy, what are we going to do? They can't go back to the arcade." We couldn't go back to the arcade, but we had a pass. And I swear, for the whole week, we were eating feast ice lollies. We had the punts we were thinking, but we had the best time. But I can't compete with the shitting in a bucket. Like we had actually a shower block.
But to paint the picture, this was a tow caravan. You know, one that you towed behind the car. Wee small caravan.
Oh,
This
it wasn't a static.
No, this was you towed behind the car job, but it was put in the field. We had relations up there. It was put in the field, and it was on the land for probably nearly 20 years until it just fell to pieces. But like, this was a wee small thing. Like, there was 6 of us in the house, mummy and daddy and us 4 boys, and you had the wee gas cooker. I call it a sink. You know, it was a basin to wash your dishes, and then there's a cupboard to the right hand side. And I mean, whenever I say a cupboard, I don't know, 5-year-old lying on it, heads touching one end, feet touching the other, and it was a bunk bed, and we slept in the cupboard. That's where the beds were at. You slept in the cupboard.
It sounds like you ever see Father Ted. What do we do now, Father?
100%. That's what it was.
Play hide and go seek when they're in. So, right, well, that's the holidays, but now they've obviously changed.
Best times ever.
I was away myself last week. Actually, I'm only back yesterday. I was in Dubai. So by the time this goes out, it'll be all right because we'll have a new camp launch. But we went out there, and it's not real. Like, it is a utopia. It's a very weird. It's very hard to explain to people because I had this preconceived idea that it's an Arab country. It's very religious. That, you know, you need to be careful. You can't do this and you can't do that. And
you have to cover up your body and all.
Well, yes.
There's a couple of snaps you sent me. They weren't covered up.
Giving the people what they want, Sean. No, but what I was going to say to you is, right, that is absolutely not the case at all. I was out there, and as I says to you, we were in some like pool bar thing, and you're not allowed to video. So we got in bother about this already because it is all government owned. We were out in the Palm, and we were videoing at the Royal Palm, and the next thing, the security, and I swear to God, you know, one of those wee buggies come flying up and actually screeched. Got out and goes, "Let me see that camera. Delete. This is government. This is owned by Sheikh Mohammed." And you have to delete because it's not like here where you can just record anything. So you have to delete any of the content that was done there. But we went till video in this like infinity pool place, and it was 360. So it was Aidan, the face for video, and me. And there was nothing conservative about that. I literally was sitting on my lounger, and this is what I sent you that snap, right? I wonder should I put a bit. No, put a bit.
Paint the picture though. Paint the picture
right,
for everybody.
Right. So it's an infinity. It's absolutely amazing. Aurora Sky Bar is called. It's an unbelievable spot. But there I am, sitting on my lounger. I've ordered a bit of sushi. Just minding my own business, Sean.
Cup of tea.
Shades on, headphones in, and this group of girls comes up in front of me, right? And now it's not strange. They're all going around with the tripods and things. Literally put their hands on each side of the pool and push their whole up out of the water for her mate to take the picture. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? You're playing, like, what conversation do you have there? Hey, Sean, come on over here. I want you to get a good angle of my asshole while I'm hanging out over the edge of this pool. Like, I actually caught... I'm like, what the fuck level of conversation they had that this is where they're doing? And maybe I'm just getting old now. And I was like...
So you're telling me you didn't get Aidan to do the same for you? Get you up, butt crack hanging out?
There's nobody...
Aidan!
There is nobody ready for that. I'll start my OnlyFans. For any of you out there, get on to Patreon, get on to OnlyFans.com. I reckon that's what they were at. They must be at that. But, Aidan, out with me, young lad, women 10 to 1. Lads, if you're listening out there now, right, get yourself out. Young lads, old men, don't be going there. You just look creepy. And that's probably the way I was. I'm not creepy. Jesus, my wife's watching this. What I mean is, there's a squad of young women. young lads out there 10-1. And if you're a 7, you may actually get yourself a 10 because the pickings on the ground slim for them girls, so they might have to lower their standards. So you could be in for a shot. But that actually was told to Aiden when we were out there, and I actually was standing there.
What way did that conversation go?
So we obviously had influencers doing different video things, and she was like, "Oh, I have lots of friends out here, and they would all be tens and all." But like, you know, and she looked like at Aiden, right, which is making me laugh. But you know, actually, when I think about it, cheeky bitch didn't even look at me. Anyway, looked at Aiden, turned around, and goes like, you know, like you could be in my shop with these girls, as in like
You're not a 10.
and in a normal situation you wouldn't, but they may lower their standards till there. But very like Vegas, a lot of ones maybe working. What do you call it?
Working girls.
Working girls. So I'll not go down that rabbit hole again. But no, so that was the crack. Dubai was class. Serious heat. And you know me, I can't really. Anything. Jess loves the sun. You're a worshipper. You don't mind the heat.
I don't mind, aye.
No, I can't.
But hey, the sea was cold.
Aye, in Spain.
Aye.
Aye, but that's refreshing.
Talk about cold water.
Did you get in?
I was out in Splash a couple of weeks back. Nearly died.
What do you mean you nearly died?
Literally, like I thought I was going to die. Like I can swim. I'm a good swimmer.
But you do a lot of open water swimming.
No problem. 2,000 metres, 3,000 metres, never bothered me at all. So this one morning I jumped in for a swim, put the wee tug thing around my waist. You know, you have to take one of my float things in me.
What wee things?
They're like a wee thing that floats behind you just so that you can grab onto if you get into difficulty.
Which I bet you thought was stupid at the time.
Stupid at the time. Borrowed one, stuck it on me, went in for a swim. So each one of the boys.
Is this like, you know, Baywatch? I'll be ready. You know the wee thing? Like.
Well, that's probably what it was like, but not whenever I'm carrying it.
Right.
But anyway.
Oh, wait a minute. Before, I'm interrupting you because I do want to go back to this. Because I actually you did tell me something about this. And like, of all the people ask me, I know the amount of open water swimming, how strong I was.
And I love cold water.
So that there was surprised. But Sean's a big influencer now, boys. Fitness influencer. Oh, did anybody catch the gym shots? Ooh, get a wee pump on there. Wee video. Were you setting, Sean? Sean, you were one of those dicks.
100%. Right.
You were literally setting your phone up on these things like. He had the weight, like if any of you haven't seen it, we'll link it in below here. But he has the weight belt strapped on. He's giving her and hey, fair play, jacked. But you got a proper pump on before you decided to video this.
No, never. That was me
balls,
only in through the door.
Balls.
That was
the
actually.
Sweat was running off your nose.
Look, we'll stick the video up here now. That was only a warm up, right? I was only in through the door.
Sean, right angles.
I was only warming up, 100%. Hey, below the 90. So it was.
I was like surprised.
Surprised in what way?
Because I was like, not really, Sean. Sean has this new thing, right? Sean never borrows his phone, never done social media, doesn't borrow, and half the time does all these funny. I goes, you should have videoed that and put that up. And he's like, right. So obviously, at some point, like maybe your wife or someone said, you know, you need to start doing more, right? So Sean's at the gym and decides, and I was like, that is not what I expected to start seeing from Sean was the old wee gym shot. Like, you know, were you setting it up? Like, how did you set it up? Did you have a wee tripod with you? Are you one of these wee tripod wankers? You had a wee tripod in the gym?
Well, I'm not going to lie. The first one I put up, started doing dips. Shaking the machine that much, the fucking phone fell.
Take two.
Fell just hang straight down. So I had to get a prop back.
You're going to be on, like, what do you call that boy? No, maybe he died. No, you know the boy that, like, goes on and rips people for, like, if there's videos, like, you know, these girls all come in and are like, oh my God, he looked at me and all. And then he's like, no, he didn't look at you. And you fucking sat with your whole out in front of the middle of the gym.
Don't even get me started with that there. See, going to the gym, I be awkward.
What do you mean?
And I mean awkward, right? I'll give an example, right? There's these 3 girls come in and, like, they're lovely girls. That's the first thing I want to say, lovely girls.
Oh, if you are watching this,
right?
you might, if you think
100%.
you are them, you are them.
Right. But lovely looking girls. They're wearing their gym gear, shorts, crop tops, whatever it is. But I'm sitting on the bench, down, benching, sit back up again, and there's this effing machine in front of you. Right? But this is what it is. It's not even a machine.
I know where you're going
right?
with this. I know where
It's
you're
the
going
thing that you lay across, right? You lay across and you hold the
Hip
weight.
thruster.
And you pull back and forward like this here. But your ass is in the air. Now, it's not just for women, it's for men too. But I seem to get caught every time I'm on the bench. Not caught, looking, but caught.
You are one of those
Sit up.
seedy little perverts
Sitting
walking
up,
around the gym
right?
going,
They're doing their workout. They're minding their own business. But every time I sit up, I'm like, fuck, I don't know where to look. Literally don't know where to look. But the other day, I was in the gym. Girls were in training away. Not that I be in often whenever they're there because I usually train in the morning.
He is looking at you.
But what do you hear? There was this guy and he was in the Smith machine. He was doing the shoulders. And just as I sat up and looked and I tried to look away, I caught him looking. And I was like, just shook my head. Like as in, what are you looking about?
You pervert.
But anyway.
But look, listen. I'm with you, right? But I do not get this, right? Because I see all these young girls, and the funny thing, we've touched on this before, absolute base in the gym, like they're serious trainers, like, right? But I don't get it. Like, I see these girls walking around, and you're like, fuck me, they look like they're ready for a night out. And I'd be grunting like a pig, and there's snot and sweat coming, and I'm like, how do they do that? Like, are they working out at all?
But this is in my head. I'm like, fuck, you have to look somewhere else. But there was actually a video come up on Instagram or TikTok, whatever it was, and it was this girl, she was in training. She had the phone up, video and everything else. And there was this guy behind her. He was like, excuse me, were you looking at me?
Aye, but that's the way.
And he was like,
what do you call him?
Sorry?
Jess, do you know that? It's not Swole. Is he the one died?
No, this was actually...
Aye, it is Swole. It's that by Joey Swole. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe
this is a different video. Because this
Joey
guy...
Swole. This guy comes on then afterwards and goes, he wasn't looking at you. Get your head out of your ass.
This particular video, it was actually a guy that worked in the place.
Oh, he put her out?
He put her out, aye. Kicked her out.
That's
he was
right.
like, no, I wasn't looking at you.
To people like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because he says, no, I wasn't looking at you. Yeah, and she was like, yeah, I thought so. Like, she had such an attitude, like, kicked her out.
100% he sneaked a peek. I'm only joking, but I actually did see them. But, right, two things. If you're going to be a dick like Sean in the gym and you're videoing yourself and you're worried that you're videoing and half these girls, and I don't know why I keep going back, this is making me sound creepy now. So you're videoing your ass while you're doing these, and you're worried that one person's going to see it, but you're going home to put it on Instagram so the world can see. Fuck off. Like, you know what I mean?
That's okay to look then.
But but what I mean is, why are you worried about this man looking at you when you're putting it up for as many men to like it as you want? You know, there's a wee bit of double standards there. Sure, like I seen one time, this girl was like, oh my God, somebody drove past my window. You're on fucking Instagram. What? If they drove past your window or they look an hour later, you're going to have it up. You know, it's all for attention.
But anyway, we'll get off topic there.
We did. But anyway, you nearly died.
Nearly died, aye.
But what happened? Did you just take a panic attack or what?
I don't know. The water was cold. Get in. Each one of the boys is 50 metres apart. So swam out the first one, 50 metres. All good.
Aye, but you're saying that, right? This is a lake.
It's a quarry.
Aye, but well, a man-made lake then. Mm-hmm. So you're 50 metres out from the side. You know,
which is 50 metres is nothing.
I know, but actually it still is, because if you're that far out and you look round, you're like, well, there's safety over there.
Aye, but I swam out the 50 metres and then I was like, do you know what? I'll head out the next one. Swam out, but whenever I got out the second one, 100 metres out, still nothing big. The fucking thing around my waist started coming down around my knees. So I was trying to tread water to pull this back up, tightened up. And I don't know, whatever clicked in my head, I was like, you're getting cold. Don't know why this entered my head.
You were cold at the start?
You're starting to get cold here. Fuck, you need to get back quick. Next thing, heart started racing a wee bit more. So I thought, right, get this thing tightened here quick. The best way to get back in quick is to swim faster, which didn't help. So I head down, started swimming, head back up, and I was like, I'm not even moving here. So I grabbed onto the old blow-up thing, took a wee breath. I was like, Jesus, what if I can't even shout for help? I'm getting too cold. This was it. Like so my head started running away with me.
You sound like you're having a panic attack. It's like an anxiety attack.
Aye.
And like, this is all in your head? Like?
100%. So I swam back in, got to the 50 metre one, so 50 metres back from the side. So it was either go to the slipway or go to the sauna. You know, the sauna steps. Sauna steps are closer. And I was like, I'm going to have to do front crawl here, or breaststroke. And I was breaststroke. And the next thing, this guy jumped in, and I was like, I'm going to have to fucking call him. So just the switch was flicking. I was like, you need to shout for help. And then I got over close enough, and I was like, right, get out. I climbed up the steps. I mean, I was vibrating.
But, right, for anybody who's watching this, right? You've done them triathlete, the
Triathlons, aye.
triathlons, and like
I swim
you're,
every
but
week.
that's what I mean. You're 100 meters away. 100 meters is like me walking to the door and opening it.
Mm-hmm.
But you've now started getting in your own head, and this 100 meters is going on for fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
That
I thought I was not going to make it out. I was like,
have
what
you
am I
went
going
back
to
and
do?
done it?
Well, this is the thing. I went into the sauna and I sat down and got the body temperature back up again. And I couldn't even talk to anybody. There was loads in. They were all talking and, well, how's things?
And you love a good sauna story.
Love a good sauna story. But sat there, got the body warmed back up, and I was like, this is a make or break thing. You're either going to walk out through the front door and head home, not do this again, or you jump back in. So, jump back in.
Balls enough because that.
So, but I jumped back in and I swam over towards the slipway and I climbed back out. But I actually got talking to a couple of ones that be down every single week. So there's this one woman in particular, she be down every single Sunday, never misses it. And I was up getting food afterwards and I said to her about it. And the same thing happened to me. She says, I'm here every Sunday. And there was one Sunday, she just, whatever happened, she just...
Well, that there highlights the reality of fucking swimming and messing about and the amount of
But
people.
that wasn't messing about. That was, there was no messing.
No,
there
no,
was
no.
nothing.
I know.
And I, whenever I went in there, I was I thought that I was within my limits, as in swim out there and back in again. But I just get in my own head.
Well,
Panicked a bit.
I can't do open water. Remember that time we went out and then I went back out. So this is actually what happened to me. I could always swim as a cub 25 meters, but not swim. I could pretty much tread water, but I could swim 25 meters. There was never a pool I couldn't get from one end to the other. But then remember I says to you, I'd love to learn to swim properly. So I went back and done adult swimming lessons and started to learn to swim. And I had learnt with 3-stroke. So I would 1, 2, breathe, 1, 2, breathe. So I was breathing from right to left. And then the first time went out to the lake, just went like really close to the edge and come back. I was like, it's all right. It was fine. It wasn't anything. It didn't go any real far, but I was just getting used to the time. I was in the, what do you call it, the wetsuit. The second day, well, I know I never done it with you out in
No, not me,
Esker
anyway.
or whatever you call it, but I went down, right? Who was there then? Because there was someone who could swim. Because I was actually worried because there's big barrels out, you know. Where do you call that there one? Is it? It's not Esker.
Askerlock and Nunyan.
Aye, and there's the barrels out. So anyway, the fucking wind was coming. And the water was coming across this road. So I go, 1, 2, breathe, right, perfect. 1, 2. And I was like, oh, gonna die. Fucking gonna die. I stood up. I could, like when I'm swimming, my hand was like just touching the fucking thing. I was like, that's it, done. I'm out.
But hey, it's mad thinking back because like at this point I'm confident swimmer. I know how to swim. But I mind we were in Ibiza one year and out for an old party boat, whole thing drinking, racking, and they were dropping us off an island for a couple of hours. So they were taking a rib boat back and forward, shuttling people back and forward. So me and this other guy were like, fuck it, sure, we'll swim. And see, thinking back now, like we jumped into the sea. Now the sea with drinking us and started swimming. Now it was at least 600 meters, easy 600 meters.
That's
So it was. And we jumped in, and I mean waves. The waves were massive, and we end up having to climb up onto rocks instead of swimming towards the beach because the current was too much. And I busted my knee, split the knee open. Next thing I was like looking for a first aid kit because I had to end up going get stitches. But it's mad thinking that.
stupid.
Oh, madness! Absolute madness.
It's actually just coming into my mind now, and maybe we'll have to have a look at this because we've had that conversation, and there's been absolutely devastation locally. So maybe that's something. I wasn't even actually thinking of that when we were having this conversation because I didn't know we were going to say that, but the one thing like I would say to anyone, I know how good you are. That to anyone watching that, stay away from water, hey? Unless you know what you're doing, like unless you know what you're doing, stay away from it. That is dangerous, like, and that is ropey. Like even actually when we were messing about in the boat, we used to head out in the boat. No, we'd never have barred with a drink. Well, you can't when you're on the boat.
But even at that, we always had life jackets on, and the same.
Which remember that? Remember we were saying that. Where were we at? Someone was like, "No, I'm grand." I was like, "Well, you're not getting on this boat then." You know, you're not getting in my boat if you don't have a life jacket, because I don't care how good you are. If you bang your head or something, you know, at least you have some sort of.
But the same, even whenever I was panicking, I still had a flotation device that I could hold on to, and I would be fine. But I get in my own head, and that's the whole reason behind it. But yeah, water.
So there you go. And well, we got really serious there, but no, look. Another thing we didn't touch on, and when we did set off on this, and I was like, it won't be long till we are number one, the number one podcast. And guess what? It became official last week.
Put up a wee screenshot up there.
Burn Scully, this is the power of technology now. Burn Scully podcast, number one podcast in Ireland. Now, I need to explain this in more detail. We are the number one podcast on Spotify, number one on Apple, but that's not the thing. Number one on Spotify when you're not Spotify exclusive. So which means is our streams, you can stream this. You could be streaming this now on Amazon. You could be streaming this on Spotify, Alexa, whatever it is, right? We're on Apple. So say 70% of our streams, Spotify is the number one for podcasts. So 70% through that. We're competing with the likes of Bartlett, Stephen Bartlett, the two Johnnies who are just in Ireland. They run the show. Like, they're all Spotify exclusive. So is Joe Rogan, the likes of them. So they can only be viewed through Spotify. So their numbers, you have to be 130% better than theirs to be number one.
So there you go.
And I just wanted to say that. Yep. So there you go. Number one in your hearts, baby. But look, guys, you need to keep subscribing. And as I said, if you want to interact with us, we are going to do so much more through Patreon. And so many is message, which is class. It actually is very enjoyable getting the messages.
We actually must do that. Stick up. I've been thinking about it. The amount of messages we get, like lovely messages that people are sending in. Like, we'll obviously take out their names and stuff, but I think it's nice to put up.
It is nice, and then
like that.
And like the thing is, so there's obviously a few of us that monitor the messages, and I joke about this because the younger ones, right? You could send the nicest message in the world, and if you hadn't just they'll heart it. They'll be like, "Oh my god, that's lovely," but never actually. And I'd be like, "Can we say thank you very much?" Or,
yeah.
But if we don't come back, guys, we do really actually appreciate it. And then there is ones that stir up. Some stir up like emotions. Ones we have had cheating ones, and then think. But another thing, you know, Sean,
but hey, just whenever you say that, you're saying about podcasts that we've done. I was away, obviously, with the kids out in Spain there, and I tell you, see, doing these podcasts, my view on holidays, life, and everything else has totally changed. And I don't know whether it scared me, I'm more cautious or what it is. But
you can't take your eyes off them.
No. And even at the beach, I'd have been down to the beach and be like, oh, they're over there. And maybe I couldn't keep my eyes off them. We went for breakfast one morning, and, you know, there were glass windows between each one of like the restaurant to the shop or whatever else. The kids, they got up after they finished their food and headed until the wee shop next door. And I mean, I was glued to them. But not only... my mind started going, what if somebody grabs them?
Yeah.
All right, well, they're in the shop. But what if the shopkeeper grabs them and takes them out? I don't know why my head's going in places.
But this is what because of some of the, and there is actually a term for this, and I can't remember what it's like. When you look at like so many cases of the one thing, you think it's more common than it actually is. So like, because we've heard of so many like, sexual abuse or traumatic things, we think that but I keep coming back to this. What odds if we're overprotective? What's the worst to come? Mm-hmm. We're just going to be vigilant.
Yeah,
you know, it probably puts more stress on our life, but we're making sure that they're watched and they're looked after. So I don't know, maybe it does take its toll, so maybe there has to be some sort of balance. But from definitely doing this, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to be honest with you, me and Sean aren't really versed in this or taught or anything like this, and it's taken a level of like compassion fatigue. Like there was a point there where we just said, geez, we need to take a break from this. And doing these pods with just us doesn't do anywhere near as well, and that's understandable because people have come here for help and stories and things, but there's times there we have to go, Jesus, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Me and you actually sat down and says, so it might take a wee turn, and we might start changing it up. And sometimes we have people on, and
But we love doing the podcast that we do because it helps so many people.
aye,
It's just that it does have
it
it
takes a
takes its
toll.
toll on us.
Takes a toll.
You know, there's one in particular, and you probably know which one I'm talking about. We recorded it, and I had to go home and get the kids and go round to the park with them and just get out of the house to actually appreciate being with them, to try remove myself from the actual podcast. But that podcast went out, and the amount of people that messaged to say that it helped them, they were going to do something about it and whatnot. But it definitely takes a toll.
I knew it was taking its toll on me when I actually stopped watching any of the clips back, and I didn't watch anything to do with it. I was like, well, I was in the room when that was done and didn't actually watch any of the clips. I would see the numbers and things like that. Normally you jump on and say, what way is that edited and how's that look? And I knew then, I was like, right, I haven't looked at any of these, and that's I'm sort of separating myself from it, and it's probably not a healthy. And there has been people that have messaged us, guys, and asked us what way do we handle aftercare with people we've had on, and if anybody if you've been on, you can testify and comment on this, that at some point or somewhere we'll interact and message and thing, but maybe there is something we could fix in that. But also, how do we do it with each other? How are we looking at? Because there was actually, remember I was telling you, the psychologist or what, a counsellor was on saying, look, what do you guys do for you?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, normally what we do is we go home and talk to the wives, and both of them are trained in counselling. So both of them are pretty, but we go home and talk to them and go home and do everything bar this. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but sometimes you just need a switch. The children's obviously a good therapy. You go home and play about and be thankful, but it does make you very thankful. Makes you very, very, how lucky you are. But it does take its toll. So we might start changing it up a wee bit, guys, and more interactive, different ones.
Because we're generally upbeat guys.
Well, I'm a funny man. I'm actually hilarious. 100%. People can attest that too. Where do you see last week, right? That one came out last week about the cheating. And he was obviously on webcam with some girl, right? This was years ago.
The mouse going.
And Sean made a joke going, he's wiggling more than the mouse. And then fucking snowflakes started hacking us. And I was like, we are literally sitting here week in, week out, hearing the worst stories, being compassionate with people. And any of our guests will tell you, we take our time with them, we're sensitive, you have to understand, we don't know anything about this, so we're trying our best. But you have a bit of a laugh now and again. We had a laugh with Sean. Sean was having a laugh with us before we come in.
Yeah.
This didn't happen last week, and this wasn't something. You get attacked, and I'm like, well, the week before, fair play to you, boys, fair play to you. And the week, and I was like, you are a target, no matter what way. So I would probably change it up, but even going back there, and I probably went in a rant, and this was weird. This is, I find, very, very weird, and I this is women. So, and I'm going to probably get slated in this. We had Yvonne's come out, right? And it was talking about coercive control, and I did do a rant on this. But so many women come on road going, that was nothing compared to mine. And I was like, who the fuck in the right mind writes that? This is 11 a reef, but this is a weird, twisted, and I hate all that bullshit about internalising, all that there is a pile of shite, and I hate that there because I just don't get involved in that, and I hate when people go on like that. But I was like, toxic as well. I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh, so you had a worse experience, so you're commenting that to someone else instead of saying, oh, geez, I'm sorry to hear that. I was like, I couldn't understand it. Or we played a clip, and now we clickbait. We clickbait. It's the game. We didn't create the game. You created the game. You don't watch something if it doesn't get you, if it doesn't trigger a response. So
it has to get your attention.
If we take something out of context, we put it up, and it gets you to come across to watch it and get the message and watch it, and it grows and it feeds back in. That's the game. We didn't create it. If we just turn around and say, guys, this is the way it is, you should watch this, you wouldn't, because you stroll through TikTok looking at a reaction, and you get a small second to catch someone's attention. Reels, Instagram, small second to catch someone's attention. So we click it. But people then decide, grown-ass men, grown-ass women, decide to comment a full review on something that they've seen 20 seconds of. And you'd be like, why wouldn't you think to yourself, there may be more of that, or I'll watch it and I'll come back and think, as opposed to give you 50p. But anyway,
Get over to Patreon.
one other thing. End of the year, Sports Day.
Sports Day. That's right.
We're talking
Sports
about
Day
things
yesterday.
that trigger me. Well, now, bad father, I've been away working. I missed my Cup Sports Day. But like, I am the most competitive person.
Same as that. Same as that.
Okay.
We were practicing last year for Sports Day. So out in the backyard, and 2 kids.
Oh, there's a bit
I
of
had the wee
controversy
whistle.
about this, wasn't there?
I had the whistle. 1, 2, 3, go. Blowing the whistle. But happened to be the...
Sean, wait a minute. You were out practicing.
100%.
For Sports
oh,
Day.
aye, just the wee starter. You know,
Right.
just to get them going.
So they all know, right? This is the most competitive environment you've ever seen. Jess, play sports, fiercely competitive. Aidan, who I actually thought might be a wee bit of a pussy in that, fiercely competitive. When we all went to the rowing thing, me and Sean always were like, that was from no age. So I was like, it's unhealthy. It's healthy and it's unhealthy. The level of how sometimes competitive I get brings out the worst.
Not a
side.
bit. My guidelines to
Sean,
the kids were...
I beat a man over the hand in a charity raft race because he was trying to slow us down when we were half a mile up the thing.
Right.
Thinking back logically, it does bring a wee bit of the bad side out.
No. Did he deserve it?
Oh,
Well,
John,
there you go.
I'll give you a small thing. We done a charity
You're going
race.
off track here.
No, but
We're
I like
Sports
it.
Day.
I like it,
no,
right? But it is the same.
going
right?
off track.
We a whole lot of us competitive. We got in and we went out last, so we were all
Look,
raging.
this isn't about rowing, it's about Sports Day.
Right, go
Calm
for it.
yourself. Calm yourself.
But Sean told them, just told them, they were trying to hold us up because we were so far in front that I'm getting out of this. If you don't, I'm quitting. This was Sean. So Sean's making it look bad, but the guy tried to hold our boat back, and I turned the oar around and beat him full suck over the thing, and I was like, took it too far. Did take it too far. But this brings me back
Stop
to
going
Sports
off
Day.
track.
I know, but you got me
Right.
going.
Out in the backyard and blowing the
I thought
whistle.
this was going to be a
get them
15-minute
going.
pod.
Nah, well, so did I. But anyway, they were racing up to the slide. So the slide was sitting side roads, plastic bit up, steps down the side, and there's a bar across the middle. Everything was going brilliant. Wee Blade was going 3, 2, 1, go. Young Cub, he wanted to go 3, 2, 1, go. And he come belting towards the slide, went to put his hand on the bar, missed the bar, dump, front 2 teeth on the bar.
Oh no.
I thought the teeth was out of his head, hey. Swear to God. and he just turned around, crying his lamps in. And I don't know, do you know the way you break your nose? You pop it into place? I thought maybe teeth was the same, you know. So I went to grab his teeth, you know, to sort of straighten it. And I went to grab it. Next thing, he let it roar out of him. And I said, no, I'm not touching it then. So it's a good job for anybody that puts their teeth back in their head. I went to the dentist, and the dentist said, do not ever pull their teeth forward again because you damage the ones up above. But anyway, that was my prep for Sports Day. And then also another good one was if you're in a race and somebody falls, what do you do? And the wee blade now reminds me that you run on past them, you win, and then you come back to see if they're okay. That's a rule. That is a rule.
Right. But, so, this ball...
But both of them, first in the run race.
Sean, I can picture Sean's pep talk on the way till school in the morning. He's like, look, you don't win, you don't come home.
But it was so funny.
Sean was showing me a video of the cub running. And he's looking round, he's eyeballing up the comp. Like
this is the way he started off, and he looked up and down the line at everybody. And it was like he was eyeballing the competition. Any of these boys any good? So he took off running, but as he's running, he keeps looking left and right, and he's like, this is a race, guys, come on.
Where he's at?
Where he's at. But he just kept running. He was like, there's nobody going to compete here with me. Off he went like a bullet. Well, first in class. Well done.
I was FaceTime, and I was like hey, you better win.
Did everybody get a medal?
Balls. Participation medals.
Did they?
No, I actually, Danielle told me that nobody won.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean nobody won?
So nobody won. Nobody wins.
First, second, third.
Sean, listen to me. It's one of the things that's annoying me the most about the thing now, and this is breeding a bundle of wee snowflakes in one go. Like, they'd be born, I didn't win a medal. Aye, because you're a dung bag. Go home and start working on the computer. Start learning the code. Because I wasn't going to be a sprinter, right? I had to obviously rely on my looks, But what I'm saying is, how do you, right, okay, so I played rugby or something. Whatever it is, right? But this here giving them all medals, telling them they're all the same, you're just setting them up for a fall.
Well, that wee school, first, second, third place for all the races.
Well, did any wee... I can't say.
There was a couple crying.
Because they didn't get a medal. Because they're dung bags.
But you lost.
You lost. Jake, take your first place medal in there. Just set her on the table. Don't say a word, son. Just set her there and go.
He's all chuffed anyway.
Well, my wee boy phoned me and told me he won. And I goes to Danielle and I was like, did he win? She goes, well, he was first. Well, then he fucking won. That's the end of that. That's the same as all this bollocks. But anyway, that is a recap. I know, guys, that a lot of these come here and you want some real deep and meaningful, and it's not always that way, and we have to take a wee break.
I think that was deep. Shite in a bucket.
Shite in a bucket. Swimming.
Nearly died.
Yeah. Hookers in Dubai. Rough. No, look, listen. So we're going to actually change it up, but we will still be bringing you the usual Burn Scully content, and we are going to be making it far more interactive, and we are going to have follow-up pods we've actually arranged quite a few, so we're going to have follow-up ones where what happened after it came out. Some of the ones you couldn't prepare for the way it's exploded up for them, and what has changed, maybe their situation, their campaign, or what they're doing, or whatever it is. So we will be following up with some of our previous guests, and a lot of you're a pile of nosy bastards, so you all want to know what's happened and ask you questions, and you message us, and we only know so much. But if you get them in on our Patreon, we will be asking it. We will be crediting it to you. We'll be saying Cynthia from down the road wants to know. Or if you want to remain anonymous and you just want us to ask on your behalf, we will say one of the Patreon members, blah, blah, blah. So look, guys, make sure you sign up, subscribe, follow us on all of our usual socials, but make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube, because any of the new shorts and stuff we're going to be putting up. But as I said, if you know someone has a story and you think it's a good fit for us, make sure that they get on to us a message, and Jess will give you the usual responses, and I'll show the boys. And if you get a follow-up thing, that means it's made the cut.
There you go.
That's it for me.
Over and out.